I can't think of the last time we've been lucky enough to have a master of hounds from the Galway Blazers on the program, but my next guest, aside from writing two hounds, John Huston has also found time to direct some of the best films we've ever all seen. Mentioned some of them earlier: The Maltese, Falcon, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, The African Queen, Beat the Devil, Asphalt Jungle, Red Badge of Courage, Moulin Rouge, The Misfits, Reflections on a Golden Eye. The list goes on and on. He's acted in a number of films, as you know, including one of the all-time worst, I think, Candy. Have to ask him about that. He didn't make that movie, though. He lives in a castle in Ireland, and I guess that's a good place to ride to hounds. He's had one of those lives that I hope is as interesting from the inside as it looks to me from the outside. He's been a boxer. He kicked around with his parents and touring, and when they were both performers when he was a young kid. He won 23 of 25 fights in a period of his life when he was a fighter. He was in the Mexican cavalry and rose to the lieutenant in that at the age of 21. He's written short stories. He said he was the world's lousiest reporter in a newspaper period of his life. He's broken his ribs riding steeplechase. He studied painting in Paris, bummed around various cities in Europe when he didn't have money. People who know him or who have drunk with him or who have worked with him say that he's about the best company you can get if you can stand the pace. Will you welcome, please, Mr. John Huston. Very nice to see you. I know there are a number of things we want to get to, and you're one of the few people I really would like to hear talk about Ireland. I know you want to talk about that. A lot of people are talking about it who know nothing about it. But since we just saw that clip with Bogart, and this is something I've always wondered, what did you use for leeches in that scene?
Leeches.
that would be the simple way of solving it.
They weren't out of the African swamps, however. They were chemically pure leeches, imported from London.
They were English leeches.
English leeches, yes.
I don't suppose anyone who ever saw that movie can forget those leeches and Bogart's reaction to them, that completely convincing tremble.
He had that reaction quite naturally.
He hated them just as much, and
yes.
Yeah.
Of course, leeches. When I was a boy, why the barber shops in New York City all had a jar of leeches. They were recommended treatment for black eyes.
Is that so?
Yes.
You'd put it right on the black part, and it would
suck the blood out.
Gee. I know that when they were used in medical treatment, or maybe still are, and when Stalin was dying, I know they used leeches on him, and as well as heavy surgery.
Yes, it was in the kings had leeches put on them to purify their bloods. The old kings of England. And
are they completely harmless?
Yes.
Could Bogart have gotten any kind of disease from them?
No, not unless they're infected.
Yeah. Did you have to talk him into using actual leeches?
No, he lent himself to this.
Yeah. Was he hard to handle at all?
Oh, no. He was a wonderful actor to work with, and delightful companion.
Uh-huh. I often hear about people that were not the first choice for a part. I mean, someone who's vividly in your mind, like Vivien Leigh, for example, in Gone with the Wind, and you hear later that maybe she wasn't the first choice. In fact, far from it, apparently. I assume Bogart was the first choice for Treasure of Sierra Madre.
He was the first choice for all the pictures I did with him, and he's still my first choice in many pictures that I only wish he were here to do today.
You wish he'd done?
Yes, quite.
Yeah. What do you think he'd make of the cult following that he has now with the pop posters of him everywhere?
I think he'd be astonished and amused.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Delighted.
Would he like it?
Oh, yes, he'd love it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he'd also be amused by it.
Mm-hmm. Did he like Hollywood in general, the social life and the things that he had to...
Well, he liked his own circle.
Yeah.
He was a wonderful host, gave great parties. He didn't mix into he wasn't on the Hollywood circuit.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I didn't see very much of Bogey in Hollywood. Usually we were kicking around the world, some other place.
When you were on location?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we have a clip later about, I wanted to talk to you about those bandits at some point in Sierra Madre. They're also vivid in anybody's mind who ever saw the movie. There was even a commercial a couple of years ago that was a kind of parody of that.
Really? I didn't
See, the man kept saying "Senor" the way the band
Uh-huh.
did. Well, they were brilliantly cast. Where do you get such convincing bandits?
As with the leeches, one of them was a bandit.
Simple answers are the
Yes.
easy.
Alfonso Bedoya was a Mexican small part player and extra. I met him. He was wonderful. You understood hardly a word he said, but he spoke it with conviction. And I hesitate to designate which of the other two was actually a bandit because they're both alive.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Well, there have been...
Bedoya died.
Yeah. Now, was that part of that shot in Mexico, the part that...
Oh, yes. Oh, all that was shot in Mexico.
So, is that because it's hard bringing bandits across the
Well,
border?
actually, when it came to bringing one of them across the border, it was quite... I wanted to do a retake or an additional scene with one of them. Quite impossible because he was wanted.
Really? You couldn't... How do you find a bandit? Did you put out a call for bandits? Or?
Well, in those days,
Or
bandits
is it easy?
weren't all that scarce in Mexico. There was at least a residue leftover from the old days when bandits were plentiful.
Gee. But the one man was an actor, the lead guy. Yeah. It's hard to... You never know what Hollywood stories are true and what stories are not true, and these legends grow up about various things. Like, there's a legend that the Maltese Falcon, which is on television a lot, that I believe it was that your secretary took a copy of it to head of a studio just with scenes marked, and they said that's a terrific script, just as it was. Is that one of the legends?
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, good. I'm glad to know that because it sounds... just broke it down into scenes, the actual...
Oh, the book itself, you mean? Oh,
yeah.
it was very
And
faithful
they
to the
said
book. Yes, very faithful.
Yeah.
I think it took me all of 2 weeks to write the script.
Yeah.
Something like that.
What did you direct on Broadway? That came up earlier.
No Exit, the Jean-Paul Sartre play, and another play, Passenger to Bali. Those were the only two things.
Do you have any itch to get back into the
Not
theater?
really, no.
Yeah.
No. I'm a motion picture man.
Okay. Was that shot in New York, in Hollywood, or or were you actually in the...
No, that was shot in London.
In London?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
I don't like to reveal all the magic of movies, but whose stomach was that actually rumbling? Did you use the sounds of a real stomach?
No, I think we collected something from a hospital.
Oh, you did?
Took over a tape recorder and
got some...
did it from a patient. Yes.
I wonder if the person who's rumbling it is actually knows that he or she is in the African Queen. Bogart and Hepburn like each other?
Oh, enormously.
Yeah.
And well, who couldn't like Katherine Hepburn?
I know.
The whole occasion in the Congo and Uganda was a joy. A wonderful experience altogether.
Was it ever miserable because of the conditions and the heat and the insects? And
Some people got ill.
Yeah.
Katie stood up quite well. Bogey did. I did. I think we were three of the elect out of the whole group. Almost everybody else
got something?
ill. Katie got a little ill, but she recovered.
You said you'd love to have made more films with Bogart. Is there somebody that you missed that you never got to make a film with that you would have loved to have done one with? I've heard Betty Davis say that one of the great losses of her life is that she never got to make a film with Lawton, for example.
Lawton, I never made a film with Lawton. I would like to have done one with... I knew Charlie Lawton very well. Had great admiration for him. No, I can't think of anyone. Those that I admire enormously, but I admire them in their films rather than as prospects for my own.
Bogart only won one Oscar, and I had heard that he campaigned for the Oscar in a sense that this may be another one of those myths, that he found it ludicrous, the idea that you could campaign for one, and that he did for a while just to prove that it was sort of silly. Is this
Oh, I don't think so.
Not true?
No.
Okay, we can scratch that myth off, too.
Practically, yes,
Good.
yes.
There won't be any myths left by the
Yes.
time we get through this.
I mean, most of the campaigns for Oscars haven't panned out.
Yeah. That's so silly, the idea that you could campaign for a thing that is supposedly an award,
Yes, yes.
but it still happens.
It's done.
Yeah.
But doesn't come to much.
How did Marilyn Monroe come to you, or you to her?
I knew her before she was brought to me to play a part. I knew her when she was an aspiring young actress trying to get a film test. And then she was, I met her briefly, and then she was brought to me by her agent and very close friend, Johnny Hyde, since deceased, and to play a part in the Asphalt Jungle. She read for me, read beautifully. I said, of course. And I must confess to not having any idea of what she would eventually come into.
She didn't seem... Oh, you mean her success or her...
That's
being-
right. Oh, I knew she was very good in the picture, but I never dreamed that she would become the figure that she did and still is.
How do you explain that, then, if it isn't there for if an experienced director like yourself doesn't see it? Then what is it? Did it develop later, or was it there and you didn't see it?
It was there. It was
Was it?
there, yes. I knew she would be good. I was only thinking of my film, selfishly, not of her.
Yeah. When we get back, we have a look at that sort of a historical piece of film. I guess yeah. I don't know if it's the beginning of the film or not, but it's a bit from the Asphalt Jungle. We'll take a look at that right after this message. Stay where you are. We'll be right back.